Redneck Garage. What is on my plate today? Well, boys and girls, it is a 1996 Jeep Cherokee that has been used as a service vehicle, been abused by employees, and I'm going to try to get her back into running condition. Let's take a look at what's going on with my little 4.0 baby. You can tell it's got a pretty good exhaust leak. On the Jeep, the first thing I'm going to do is take off a bunch of these externals, the air box, the power steering pump. I might as well take out the radiator because a new radiator's got to go in it. The thermostat, I'm not sure if it's stuck or if it has an issue. We're going to replace the thermostat. So that's going to be getting this cleared off to get to the exhaust manifold and maybe get a better look at it, because I know that it's leaking over there. I don't know where, but I'm pretty sure it's just cracked to crap, which is usually what happens with those. Washed all the door jambs off. It looks much better, especially when there's mold and leaves in there. Looks like a new Jeep. Well, that looks a whole lot better, that's for sure. I still got a lot more cleaning to do on the dash, but the seats have been shampooed and got a lot of junk out of the floorboards. Those should drop real nice. I'm gonna leave it open. Ooh-wee, she's running, but she ain't running good. That's for sure. Listen. That ain't good. That's probably why it overheats. Right there. Look at that. That fan clutch is completely gone. Wow. That was noisy. I can't see it, but I can feel the exhaust coming out. So I can go ahead and start taking off all the externals to get to the exhaust manifold, because I know that it's cracked somewhere in there, or the gasket's bad, one or the other. So we're gonna start working on that. And I got to check engine light, which is good, because then I can check the codes on it. This is a manual checker. Turn the key on and off, it'll give you codes before I unhook the battery to start taking it apart for the exhaust leak. But holy moly, look at that thing, that's terrible. All right, the codes that it came up with were 12 and 51, and 12 is just a not readiness, and 51 is a rich condition, which could be caused by a bad spark plug, bad wires, something wrong with the rotor, cap. I got all that stuff ordered. I thought I'd put new wires on it, but you just never know, so we're going to be looking at that too. Alright, so I'm up to this point here. I got everything disconnected. Used a fuel line disconnect for here. That's your gas line. You can leave your fuel rail on. Then you got your bolts across the top, and then you got the bolts underneath, which are really the pain in the butt. So let's start with that. Alright, so far so good. I got all the top ones loose. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 4 on the bottom that are on this. So now it's loose. I'm going to go ahead and take off these top bolts, and the intake should go ahead and slide off, and then we can get a better look at the exhaust manifold. Alright, so there's the culprit. Right there you can see that this pipe is pretty much just broken away from the exhaust itself. So this is just wide open, and I could actually smell fumes inside the cab when it was sitting there idling for a little length of time. So this is definitely going to be a big help as far as that goes. As far as the other stuff goes, as far as like the running, we'll reach that when we get to it. But I can go ahead and start putting some anti-seize on here. I'm probably gonna have to cut these bolts off, this one and this one, and then just put new bolts in for that, because that's just a pain in the butt. But as far as the exhaust manifold, we're down to it, baby. As far as the exhaust manifold bolts, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's part of the exhaust over here, so you don't have to worry about that. You got these 1, 2, 3, 4 to get the intake part of it off. And then of course we'll be cleaning all this gasket surface off. I don't think that I was getting any leaks in there, but you never know as far as the intake goes, and that could contribute to the running. I think it's something else though. So there it is. You think that could make a little bit of noise? Absolutely, that's terrible, man. That's why it was so dang loud. Now I'm just going to wait for my new one to come in. I'll clean off my gasket surface here, get that good and clean on the intake and the exhaust, and then we'll be ready to install everything back on there. Awesome. I got the top cowl off, which is mostly just 10mm bolts, and that's where your radiator resides. And this radiator, which isn't that old, I'm going to replace with a 4-core instead of a 3-core, or a 3-core instead of a 2-core. I think it's actually a 4-core. But anyway, a more heavy-duty radiator for the air conditioning. And with the fan clutch, of course, that could have been the whole problem while it was getting warm. But it'll never hurt to have a bigger radiator. You can see there's a huge difference in the cooling capacity of this one versus the original, which is really, really thin. It's getting kind of windy out here, so it's hard to film, but I'm going to go ahead and put that one in. New radiator, that one is a Haas. It goes almost up to the edge. That should help any cooling issues that we had before as far as like radiator goes. Alright, so I'm putting a fork in it for today. Next video I'm going to have the exhaust manifold in. Going to start exploring what could be causing the running issues like this. This is really kind of trippy. I put new plugs in it, new cap, new rotor, new wires, less than 5,000 miles ago, and it's running like crap. So I'm going to do a compression test and kind of go down that road to figure out, before I zip everything up, if it needs a timing chain or if something else catastrophic is wrong with this Jeep, because it really should run way better than that. Keep watching. As far as like the exhaust manifold, everything's been pretty easy up to this point. Cut those bolts on the downpipe because there's no sense trying to take those or save them out. Other than that, it's just a matter of taking things off and not losing the dang bolts for them. Keep watching. See if I can figure out what's wrong with this thing. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.